Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Barakatham, to the hopefully elect. I don't know what's going on. Lately I've been having issues trying to do certain videos, touch on certain topics, because I was trying to do this video for a few days now, but for whatever reason, man, like I said, when I touch on certain topics, and brothers have been mentioning this. I've been noticing over the past few months. Brothers have talked about this. I noticed it over the past few months dealing with the service of my phone, man. Um, you know, certain apps start acting up, and it's just it's a damn mess, man. You know, it's getting to the point where it's frustrating because it's hard to, what the hell are you looking at? But it's frustrating because again, trying to do certain lessons and stuff, and again, for whatever reason, man, touching on certain topics, the app starts acting up and, cuts off or whatever the case may be. And like I said, certain brothers have mentioned the fact that, Esau could possibly be doing something to the service or whatever, but like I said, just picking up where I left off last in the first part. I think I was mentioning how France is basically upset at this move, because again, Australia, they're not a part of the alliance, but here it is. America went ahead and backstabbed France to partner with a non-alliance. So France is pissed off, and I think I was making a point about how basically France, from what it's looking like, they want to leave the NATO alliance. All right. And again, it's prophetic because this is a part of prophecy, the 10 toes. All right. But ultimately, I do believe I went over Daniel, the second chapter, where it talks about the powder, the clay and the iron, because they're, breaking up. Ultimately, it's going to lead to them, this whole structure, breaking up, and ultimately it's going to lead to this, to where these nations, they're going to look at as America as the problem, right? They're going to come to the realization that America is a problem. This is why eventually all these nations are going to shoot their missiles at America. So I'm going to read this in Revelation chapter 17. I'm going to start at verse I might just skip through certain points or read certain verses. I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, "And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters." And this whore is talking about Babylon the Great. This is that whore that sits upon the scarlet colored beast, when I do believe when reading the same chapter, right? But just for the sake of time and sticking to the point, jumping down to verse 7, it says, "And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns." And again, the 7 heads and the 10 horns going into NATO and the EU. All right, which is the picture up on screen. All right, this is what this is displaying. Verse 8, it says, "The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not, and yet is." Because during this time, during that time when John the Revelator was seeing these visions, America hasn't, of course, it wasn't established yet, so that's why I said in the previous video, part 1, the 7 heads, out of that 7th head would come, because when you read throughout the Daniel's, it talks about the little horn, all right, or the eighth head that will come out of the seventh head, which is all talking about America, all right. It says, and there is and here is the mind which hath wisdom. The seven heads are seven mountains on which the woman sitteth, all right, which because ultimately, like I said, dealing with these seven heads is the seven heads going into the seven mountains that Esau would the seven governments Esau used. Again, in case I didn't mention this in the first part, going into, because it started with the Greeks. This whole beast structure of Esau started with the Greeks. All right, the Greeks, the Romans, French, British, Germania Major, Germania Minor, and the British. All right. I don't know if I don't know if it's Spain if it's included in that. Oh no, that's something different, Slovakia. But verse 10, it says, and there are seven kings, five are fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet to come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth and is of the seventh. So like I said, this eighth coming out of the seven, all right, coming out America, because America stems from Great Britain, all right, because again, Britain being the seventh head, all right, and that's where America was, springs forth out of. So and it's also spiritual, because right now, I was gonna do a video on this, but right now you got Europe, all right, the bottomless pit that the scriptures speak about. Europe right now is what are they doing? They let me see if I have this video queued up, because like I said, I wanted to touch on this on a separate video. Actually, Europe, because basically when you see places like Europe or Britain, whenever they do something, you best believe that eventually America is gonna follow along, so to say, because again, the scriptures talk about the let's see if I can find the scripture real quick. But while I'm looking for this, Europe is trying to basically Europe is on a path right now. They're talking about self-sustaining. Let me just look it up real quick, because I'm trying to word it so that it doesn't pick up on the YouTube algorithm, because it deals with the charagma. All right, Europe basically wants to be self-sufficient in creating their own, CHIPS. All right. See if I still got the video queued up. I probably don't, but yeah, you could just look this up. If anything, Europe, they're on a path of, like I said, creating their own semiconductors, if I could say that, their own, like I said, the CHIPS, the charagmas, Europe, they want to do that, which again is spiritual, because hey, this thing doesn't want to work. See, this is what I'm talking about, man. Brothers have talked about this as well, dealing with YouTube, man. YouTube has been acting funny, man. The damn what do you call it? Like when you scroll through like regular videos and stuff like that, man, a lot of times some cases they'll show the thumbnail, in some cases they won't. But especially like when you try to watch certain videos, especially brothers videos, right, the thumbnails don't pop up, man. YouTube has been on some funny stuff, man, acting all weird and stuff, man. And like I said, brothers have touched on this. I've noticed this over the past few months, but I didn't think nothing of it, because I thought it was just my service is slow or whatever. But brothers have touched on this, mentioned it a few times here and there, and it's starting to make sense, because again, Esau, they could be playing with the stuff, man. They could be playing, playing around with these things, man. But I'm trying to look for this freaking video, but see, the thing doesn't want to work. Even with the Wi-Fi, man. Even with Wi-Fi, shit don't be working, man. Things be acting up. Y'all just bear with me. Come on, man. Oh, man. I might just have to do I'll just do a separate video on this, man, because this shit is ridiculous. Lord's will, I can get to it, but nevertheless, because I do believe in part one, I mentioned how Greece, they are protesting because, you know, they want to get out of the whole NATO alliance. They, you know, we got a lot of the guys over there, people over there, they don't want to be a part of that alliance anymore. So again, just more info on you know, how dealing with these different alliances and the relationships and how they're rocky and whatnot. Eventually, you know, they're gonna break up. You know, all these alliances, you know, they're gonna break up, and eventually, like I said, they're going to shoot missiles over here at America because they're gonna come to the realization that America is the problem, man. You know, and like I said, a lot of those nations, those alliances, those allied nations are looking at this event as, you know, they're like, well, shit. You know, if they did that to France, one of their allies, well, what's to say that they won't do it to us? You know, so there's a lot of chit chat going on, you know, back and forth and whatnot. You know, heads are being turned because, like I said before, people are seeing this. The world is watching this. You see. But back in Revelation 17 and verse 11, it says, "And the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth and is of the seven, and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful." Yeah, because eventually, you know, when them nations fight each other, they're going to shoot missiles at each other, and eventually they're going to come together and try to fight Yahushua when he invades the earth, because Yahushua is prophesied he's going to come in the midst of World War III. All right, when they press those buttons, that's, you know, when you see missiles being shot forth, and you hear those sirens, those alarms or whatever, and the broadcast on the TVs and the radios, when that happens, just know that Yahushua, he's going to crack forth through those clouds any second. Verse 15, it says, "And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire." So, again, these 10 horns, all right, you know, and all these different allies and all these different nations, eventually they're going to get to a point where they're going to get sick and tired of America, all right, and they're going to shoot their missiles. They're going to over 200 million or nuclear warheads are going to hit this place, turning this place into a lake of fire, making this place desolate, making this place naked. All right, you know. So again, dealing with these type of events where America, UK, and Australia have formed this alliance, and America basically just kicked France to the curve. You know, stuff like this, events like this, is prophetic. All right. And you see, because a lot of nations, for the most part, they don't want to go to war. They're trying to, they want to keep peace. You know, they don't want to, because everyone's afraid of nuclear war. Everyone's afraid of a nuclear fallout right now. You know, so nobody wants to go to war, man, because they know, hey, if it's a nuclear fallout, then that's going to be the end all be all. So people are afraid of these apocalyptic type events. But you see, even if they don't want to go to war, Yahweh is going to make them go to war. And that's why when you read verse 17, it says, "For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will. and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the word of God shall be fulfilled. All right, so again, the Lord's going to put it into the minds of these people to eventually press those buttons. Because even if they don't press those buttons, man, the angels are going to do it, right? You know, there's all type of videos that have come out about how you had nuclear reactor plants being reactivated, you know, and right alongside there with chariots, you know, so-called UFOs, you know, activating, you know, nuclear plants and, you know, doing all type of stuff, man, messing up Esau's system and whatnot, playing with Esau's systems and whatnot, man. So even if they don't do it, the angels are going to do it. But nevertheless, the Lord's going to put it in their minds to do it, to fulfill his will. So this is, you know, the Lord is stirring all these things up ultimately. He's gearing all these things up ultimately, you know. So hopefully this was edifying. To just wanted to shed some light on this event. It is prophetic, you know. Like I said, hopefully it was edifying, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Bashim Al Shai Barakatham to the hopefully elect, Lord's will. Until next time, Shalom.